Hello, everybody. Thank you for waiting. We are live here at Monterey Bay Aquarium for our gaming stream with the wonderful FathomVerse team.
Hi!
They came all the way down from Moss Landing, just across the bay from us, from MBARI, who is our research and technology partner, the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, and we are just so overjoyed to have them here today. I would also like to thank Joe, the wonderful person running tech support behind the scenes today. They just saved our lives. And our friend Christine as well, who is moderating the chat. So thank you, everybody, for being here. My name is Liliana Watson. I'm a senior content creator at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and I would like my friends to introduce themselves as well as share their favorite deep sea animal with us today.
Ooh. All right.
The person beside me, I don't know if you can possibly guess, but I'm going to hand it over to Lily.
Yeah, guess in the chat what my favorite deep sea animal is. Hi, everyone. I am Lily Carlson, and I am the engagement coordinator for FathomNet and FathomVerse. I'm so excited to be with you here today. And my favorite deep sea animal is a vampire squid.
Really?
Yeah. Can you tell? This, as is embodied by this wonderful one-of-a-kind costume.
Handmade.
Handmade, too. Couture.
Then you'd never know.
I'm supposed to go.
Go ahead.
Go.
My name is Kakani Katija. I work at MBARI. Our group is the Bioinspiration Lab, and I've been working with FathomNet and FathomVerse for quite some time now. But my favorite deep sea animal is the giant larvation. You may have heard they make snot palaces, which is
coolest.
Pretty amazing. So that's it.
I feel as though we might need to follow up on that one later.
Yeah.
But
There might be a Monterey Bay Aquarium video about that, actually.
Yeah. I'm Emily Clark. Nice to see everybody. I'm the content manager for FathomNet and FathomVerse. And today, my favorite deep sea animal is snailfish. I was reviewing some data earlier for the game, and I'm so excited for what's coming soon. So many cute snailfish. Keep your eyes out.
Awesome.
That is beautiful and amazing. I truthfully am not certain what a snailfish is, so I look very forward to this. Should I not be admitting that in front of MBARI people?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what that is. Don't worry.
There's so many animals to choose from, so many to discover.
This is
so
true.
many to discover, and you can learn all about them in our mobile game, FathomVerse.
Oh, wow, what a natural segue
Amazing.
into the topic of the stream today. So we are here with the FathomVerse team because they just successfully launched their version 2 of the game just a couple weeks ago. So congratulations, everybody. I know a lot of work went into that.
Thank
Thank you.
We are so proud of you. And I would love to ask if one of you would like to give just a brief overview of what FathomVerse is, just a sort of starter intro before we launch into the gaming stream.
You're looking at me. All right. So, there's a lot we don't know about what's going on in the ocean, particularly ocean life. In terms of what is known to science, researchers are estimating anywhere from 30 to 60% of life is unknown to us, right? And that's a massive gap in our understanding of who we share this planet with. And so what FathomVerse tries to do is bring all of this information that other researchers, other institutions, even eventually some enthusiasts are generating, right? They're taking awesome imagery and video of, animals in the ocean. And what we're trying to do is we're bringing it into the game, bringing it into a central place so that game players anywhere with whatever knowledge or expertise can help us identify all the life in the ocean. And so this is really just the starting point of, hopefully a very long project, but also just journey with, our team, with researchers, with scientists, but also game players as we discover all life in the ocean.
Yeah. And we made the game to be blissfully productive. We call it a cozy game. It's very relaxing. And we just recently released, like you said, version 2 of the game. So we released version 1 last May, and version 2 just released 2 weeks ago. And we have a bunch of new features. We learned a lot from the version 1, and we got a lot of feedback from our amazing Fathomnauts, who we call our FathomVerse players. And from that, we learned, how to make the game better, how to make it more engaging. So we added more mini games. There's a bunch of new awards that Emily has been working really hard on. There's a bunch of exclusive content that you can unlock in the game. And yeah, we're just really excited for everyone to try out all the new features and explore this game because really, as you play, you can contribute directly to ocean science.
That's amazing. I wish there was some way that we could explore those new features with our viewers. Luckily, we do have a way. Do you guys want to start with a little bit of gameplay and we can keep talking more about FathomVerse? But I think the best way to talk about it is to show off all the hard work you guys have done.
Definitely.
And thank you to the amazing Fathomnauts who gave their feedback and worked so hard playing the game. I have heard that you are just an amazingly engaged and wonderful community. I have joined the Discord server. I'm a bit of a lurker, but I am there, and it just seems
You
like...
can always just yes chef the comments. That's a great way to start getting involved.
I'm much more of a reactor than a contributor, but I'm really glad that space exists for everybody.
I see Lisa on the YouTube chat. Lisa, the underwater explorer.
She was the first to reach denizen of the deep.
Wow, we have a celebrity here.
Huge.
Dude.
That's huge.
A celebrity.
A celebrity.
Also in the chat, there's some discussion about the snailfish. And just really quick, Joe mentioned that the snailfish do kind of look like Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle, which is such a huge coincidence because Howl is what my Halloween costume was this year.
Wow.
Can you believe?
I can.
That does
Blonde
not
towel
surprise
from the
me
beginning.
at all.
It's
Not-
all coming together.
not
I just
so much.
realized I had the haircut for it, and that's all I needed.
All right. So where do we start? So the big thing about the game, right? The idea is we're basically asking our players to help us look at imagery, and actually a lot of this imagery is coming from, groups, researchers, that it hasn't really been looked at before. It's like not annotated. So really, for the large part, we just don't know what's in this footage. And so when a game player is entering the FathomVerse for the first time, the goal is to see this imagery and to discover new life right in this imagery. And so you can see that in expeditions. So you'll see here these different tiles that I think everybody's seeing.
Yes.
Okay. There's these different tiles, and you'll notice here we have training and expedition, and then this is expedition, etc. And so, but the only way you can get to expedition is actually by training. Because first off, we would have to be certified on particular animal groups, or we call them animal missions, before you can start looking at this imagery, right, that we just don't know what's in it. And so that process is actually pretty straightforward. It involves selecting, 3 different animal missions to train on simultaneously. And then the idea here is that you conduct more than, at least 3 dives looking for that particular animal in order to then become certified. So what you're seeing in the screen is vampire squid. Somebody has been training on that already. They've done 2 of 3 dives. Coral, there's 2 of 3 dives done as well. And then what you notice is bony fish, there's like this little ribbon there. That's because you've been certified. And so when we start training, we'll want to select a new animal that would fit this particular animal group. Actually, what do you want me to train on? Do you guys have any? Oh, sharks. Okay.
I'm very into sharks
Where
right
is
now.
this?
Somebody wants mollusk in the chat.
You want
Oh,
mollusks?
mollusks.
We have a vote
I'm
for
big
mollusks.
Sippy wants mollusk.
All
We
right.
can do what the people want.
What kind of mollusk? So it looks like octopuses and squids have already been trained on. Vampire squid is in progress. You can see that by that little triangle. But there's some others. There's a gastropod here. Ooh, sea butterflies.
Ooh,
You guys down
pretty.
with that?
Nudibranch sea slugs has a vote in the chat.
Okay. All right.
We did just release a 2 hours of nudibranchs to chill and study to, so that could be thematic, by the way. You can
That could
leave
be
the
why.
stream and
All
go
right.
chill with some nudibranchs. So maybe we should start with that.
All right, let's do
Yeah.
it. So, what I want to highlight, so when you select, which animal group, what you'll see right away is what we call these mission briefings. And so what this is just really condensed information about these animal groups. And so it allows you to, learn about them, also distinguish amongst different types of animals within the group, and also, understand what are the features that define this animal with respect to others. And so here, this has been a ton of work. Emily has been involved with this. Giovanna Sains, who's a researcher at MBARI as well, has been involved with this. And then MBARI's Video Lab have been providing a lot of, expertise. But basically, we've got these lovely diagrams for every animal group. You can see that these different features, these numbered features, are indicated on the diagram. And then there are these really awesome photos of representatives, like animals that represent this animal group. And then also, I think what I find super, super helpful are confusing lookalikes, right? Mm-hmm. Animals that we come across that could look really similar to these, but are actually in a different animal group.
It's just not a sea slug.
Exactly. In fact, in this case, this is a sea cucumber. So what you do is you select it, and then, once you've loaded up your animal missions, then you hit dive. And so in a dive is where you are looking for, remember those 3 animal missions that you're training on? But it's worth knowing that, the images that you're seeing in training, actually an expert has looked at before. And so what you're going to learn really quickly is, how did you do? And you'll notice that I'm kind of not flying, but swimming around on these currents.
Gliding,
Drifting.
Gliding.
cruising.
And as you drift along these currents, you're going to be tapping your screen sending out a pulse, which then opens up these, little wandering dots, and those are animals. So you've revealed animals, and now when you click on those images, you open them up, and this is what you see. So this is one of the first points in time where you're making a decision about whether or not you want to collect this particular image.
And what is that? Does anybody here know?
I do.
She was wearing it.
We should have buzzers. This should be like Jeopardy.
Should we
Oh,
quiz
yeah.
the chat?
A button.
Does anyone remember?
So that is vampire squid.
We'll do the next one.
Spoiler alert.
I need to
That's
let you
cheating.
guys know I know what it is.
Lily can't contain herself.
No,
It's
she can't.
I know what it looks like. I swear.
So you see that, there's the 3 icons at the top of the screen. So that is just a reminder of what are the animals you're looking for. The other neat thing is you can actually go back to these mission briefings just to refresh yourself in case, you forget. This happens to me all the time. But what you're trying to do here is decide if this is an animal you want to collect. And you can do this for 2 reasons. You can either collect an image because it matches one of your active missions, or you can collect an image just because you want to favorite it and add it to your collection and keep going back to it over and over and over again.
Or because you find it mysterious.
Sure. For whatever reason.
You can favorite it for any reason at all.
Yeah. And that's a personal choice.
Yes, I'm not going to tell you why, but here's a vampire squid. We all agree this is a vampire squid, right?
Agreed.
Okay, and then that's one of our active missions, so we're going to want to collect it. And we do that by clicking on the image and dragging it onto our avatar. Does anyone know what this is?
That's my buzzer. Can I answer, or are we waiting for the
I
chat?
mean, I was going to see if other people.
No,
Totally.
go,
No,
go,
this
go,
is for
go
the
on.
chat. Chat, this is on you. This is your turn. Let us know what's in the image.
A seal?
Nice. Yes, it's a cone
Hans
jelly.
Bricks, thank you. You are correct.
Hans-
So I'm going to collect that because
Oh,
I
Book
have
Dragon also got it.
I have a
No.
thing
Hey,
for...
Kendra.
I actually have a thing for gelatinous animals, so gonna collect it. I mean, any ideas what this is?
I think that's a sea slug. Oh, sorry, chat.
You guys!
We gotta kick Emily out.
I'm sorry.
I thought it feels like we're just talking.
What
Feels
is
like we're
this?
on Jeopardy.
I didn't know we were
Yes.
being recorded. I didn't know that there was a live studio audience.
We're in final FathomVerse. You gotta go as fast as you can.
Nice. It is definitely a sea cucumber. Remember, this was one of the confusing lookalikes for the sea slug. So I'm gonna skip it. This is a sea slug.
That's a pretty one.
That one's pretty.
I love the frills.
This one is also pretty. You can see it's
Can you zoom in so we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
check it out? Oh.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty little flower element. I don't know
Is
what
that what
those,
it is?
I don't know what the biological term is for that. It looks like a brooch, a flower brooch
does,
for,
it
does.
for lunching.
That's a lady
Ladies-
who
ladies
lunches.
who
I'm gonna
lunch.
grab it. And so the other thing you'll notice is at the top, like there's a this is a sponge and it's glorious. So I'm gonna collect it. But you'll notice that there's this progress bar, and so that tells you how many animals have you opened up or revealed. And so you want to keep in mind you actually get extra bonus points if you open up all of the animals. In training, I believe it's 25 animals for each dive. Does anyone know what this is?
Who is this diva?
She can see
I won't say.
a lot of things.
Known for her.
Yes.
Coral
Coral
chaser,
chaser.
you got it.
It is true. We love
This is a barrel-eye fish.
We love
Bony fish.
barrel-eye. Bony fish, yes, yes.
I
So-
too wish I had a see-through skull.
You do?
Yeah, I think that would be epic, don't you?
But we live on land.
I think it'd be cool.
You have to stare into the sun all the time.
Oh, that's true. I actually don't want to have sunglasses for the top of it. Not
You
interested.
need a sunroof. You need to wear a visor
Yeah.
over your head the whole time.
That sounds like a pain.
You could just get bangs like me.
Oh,
But then what's the
Liliana, I
point
have
of the-
bangs.
All right.
are you not
Bringing us
seeing?
back.
Come on, everyone. We're streaming.
So I don't know if you guys saw that. There was a little pop-up that was like, you can leave the dive. After you open up 50% of the images, so half the images, you have the option to leave. And you can do that by hitting this button here on the top right. And so that concludes your dive. So right away, you're starting to earn points for your contribution. So here, this gives you some stats. You've opened up 16 of 25 images. You've gotten a reward for doing that. That progress bar there tells you, how close to 100% did you get. So I didn't get a bonus because I didn't open up all of the animals. But then you'll see what my total CP is. And CP stands for...
Contribution points.
Lily beat me to it. But I know what it means.
Okay. To be clear. And so then the next stage is where we ask you to classify these images. So tell us, what animal group does this animal fit into? And so, really the idea here is you want to just do your best. Oftentimes you're going to see images that are really hard to see or detect all the features, or sometimes they can be blurry. At least in training, that won't be the case. But really, this is an opportunity for you to learn whether you've picked up some of the details that are in those mission briefings. And because you're doing more than one dive on these animals, you have an opportunity to learn over time. And so here, we just decide, okay, what do we want to do with this image? So I know Lily loves vampire squids.
I want to favorite that.
So she wants to favorite it, and you do that by hitting that heart up there at the top. And we're pretty sure that's a vampire squid. I'm going to favorite this one. But note it's a ctenophore or a comb jelly. I know somebody already said that in the chat. It doesn't match any of our animal missions, but that's okay, because we can hit this button called None of These. And so we then move on to the next step. This is vampire squid. Do you really want to keep this one too?
No, I don't need to keep that one.
Okay, that's fair.
So, Kakani, can you explain a little bit about these positive labels that you're adding to the images?
Yeah, so there's some detail. So what's happening is by having these 3 active missions, and by selecting one of those active missions, you're basically telling us in the game that this image with this animal is belonging to one of these 3 missions. So this image, if I assign it a sea slug, I am saying that image or that animal is a sea slug. Now, say if I, so I'll just do that. Let's find another one. Okay, glorious coral sponge. But now if I see this particular animal, and I know it doesn't match any of my active missions, if I select none of these, what I'm actually doing is I am labeling the image, but I'm giving it what we call a negative label. And so what that means is it's not a vampire squid, it's not a sea slug, nor is it a coral. And so that information, these positive labels, which is this is a particular animal versus it's not a particular animal, which is a negative label, all of those labels are added together or put together to eventually come up with consensus, the final label that we assign to an image. So again, this requires a lot of input from game players. We're so grateful that they continue to help us in this process. And it's just been really, incredible to see how game players have been, really embracing this activity. Oop, that was pretty.
Yeah.
I'm going to save that one.
And you can go back. You can use that back arrow, and it won't erase any progress. So like Kakani just did, if she missed one, she realized she wanted to favorite it, you won't erase any progress. You just go to the most previous one, and your label's still there, and you can still favorite it.
Yeah.
And well, before we keep going, Kakani, do you want to just talk a little bit about what those consensus labels mean for, in terms of contributing to the science that you are doing? When enough people vote, from what I understand, that contributes in some way. Could you speak a little bit to what that means?
Absolutely. So, the researchers or collaborators, they're contributing their hard-earned data to us. So, these are institutions that go out on these really long expeditions. They might use robots or cameras that you throw over the side of the boat to collect all of this imagery. And when you bring this information back, often, unless you have a team of we call them visual taxonomists, a team of researchers who watch every single second of your footage and assign annotations, or basically say, at this time we came across this kind of animal. the information within that visual data is not unlocked, right? When you watch a video, it's beautiful, but when you're trying to make decisions around, who is there and what and how often, that requires converting that information, right, from pixels to like names of animals and counts. And so what's happening in the game is for data where we just don't have annotations, we don't have labels, game players are helping us to label that or annotate that information. And then working together with their positive and negative votes, we can then come up with consensus. So it's basically like agreement based on what all the game players say.
And one of the ways we can also speed up processing, like getting information from those videos, is by training AI models. And so all of this data that gets created and this annotated data and all of the labels in the game can then train an AI model to speed up the process. And we use a specific type called machine learning models to do that.
That's incredibly cool. So your players are directly contributing. So
Yeah.
where we can't, have those taxonomists live all the time on every live cam as much as we'd like that, then people can basically contribute from home, which I think is really cool. And I hear it's Citizen Science Month as well.
It is.
So we are celebrating folks who contribute to science, even if they don't have, the privilege of being here on Monterey Bay. You can contribute from wherever you are and, be your own little live stream taxonomist. So it's incredibly
totally.
cool.
All you need is a device. And
Yes.
it could be Android, it could be iOS, right? So
Yeah. And I
it's-
think as many scientists will tell you too, so little of their time actually gets to be spent on directly asking questions of the data they've collected. Way more time is spent on processing and gathering data in the first place. So this really just accelerates that process to get scientists actually to the point where they can do the science, where they can really ask questions and get some answers and ask more questions, which I think is really fun. And as someone who grew up in a very landlocked place, it was very exciting to me to be giving this to anyone out there not close to an ocean who's excited about it.
Yeah, so anyways, I can talk about the next steps of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, because you're in training, actually this is true, not just in training, I think what's really helpful is to know, how close were you? Where might you have missed things? Where might have you perhaps gotten a label wrong? And it's just because, starting out, we have to start somewhere, right? And what we give you right away after you complete a dive and complete that classification step is feedback. And so what you're looking at is the dive discoveries, the feedback screen, and then this tells you instances where people, the community, so FathomVerse, either agrees with the labels that you provided. So you can see 8 of 16 of these images. The community agreed with my label. And then it also tells me when I've missed something. And by missed, that means this is an animal that was in the dive that we didn't collect. Because again, that's knowing that we're collecting all of the things that are relevant to our missions. It's actually an important metric for improving not only the models, but also understanding how well the game player is playing. So, you can look at these images and be like, oh man, I should have opened up that image so I could have seen this really awesome coral. I'm going to favorite that because I think they're cool. But yeah, so at the end of every training dive, you'll get all of this feedback, and then you have the opportunity to try again. And so in this case, we've completed 3 dives for the vampire squids, right? And we're super stoked. This is a moment of celebration that's in the game. And so you can see, because we've been certified with this vampire squid, we can actually start looking for them in expeditions, which is where it's really exciting, right? Because we're looking at brand new data. And then also we were certified on coral.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was a group effort. I appreciate it.
And for anyone who's new to FathomVerse, just so you know, coral is difficult for everyone.
Even for experts.
Even for experts. We see a lot of, and there's a really supportive community over on our Discord. You can access that by pressing the
Community button.
the community button. There's a lot of tips and tricks there if you get stuck on corals and sponges, which are just notoriously difficult, but also a really fun challenge.
And I do actually have some cool stats that Kakani shared with me this morning, which is that apparently you've recently broken of the number of previously unlabeled ROIs that have reached consensus. You've surpassed 100,000 now.
100,000 images. Yeah. So thank you, FathomNauts. We 100,000 images that had entered into the game. We had no idea what they were. They now have been assigned labels thanks to you. And I think it's worth mentioning that number, 100,000, it's a huge milestone. But not only that, it actually represents about 1/3 of the data that's currently in one of our big data sets. It's called FathomNet, that the research community uses to train these machine learning models so that we can accelerate the identification of marine life. So it's a huge, huge contribution, and we're so excited to see, what's next, because trust me, there's more data.
Always more
There's
data.
always more data.
That's so cool.
That's our motto.
Always more data.
Mo data, mo cool. So yeah, what do you guys want me to show next?
Well, I hear you have some new mini games. Is
Oh,
this true?
yes.
Yeah. Let's
Right.
show off something from 2.0.
Yeah, so remember these tiles that I was showing you? What these are different mini games. What they are also really are different data interactions. So basically, you're looking at data throughout the game, but there are different ways to experience it, and that's how it's encompassed within a mini game. So, for instance, Pulse was a game that we were just playing. Another game, and this was actually launched in version 1, was Illuminate. It's also what we call a classification game, so you're assigning a name to an image. But a brand new mini game is called Bound, and what Bound allows us to do is actually identify or detect an animal in an ocean scene.
I Spy vibes.
I Spy vibes. Do you
Yeah.
want me to open that?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
All
go
right,
for
let's
it.
do it.
So a lot of the times, this is kind of the first step that's
Ooh.
needed. Oh, look at this beautiful video.
Let's learn how to play.
Okay.
In Bound, you will locate and draw bounding boxes around all the ocean animals you see. Zoom in, out, and around to search for the animals in the image.
That's Giovanna's beautiful
Found
voice,
one?
our biologist on our team.
Tap the box
Wow, nice
button and
talent
adjust it
in-house.
until it contains the whole animal. Your boxes will be compared with other players in FathomVerse to generate consensus on where the animals are in the image. The more your boxes agree with the community consensus, the more CP you will earn. If animals are close together, your boxes can overlap. Once you've drawn
Amazing. It's another thing to also note that Emily was the one who put those videos together, so they're really helpful and really useful. And so when you do enter Bound, you actually have, and we haven't played this yet on this device, so you're going to see a lot of these like onboarding screens or like little tips and tricks. So here, this is an image, a scene, and you'll notice that there's a box here in pink. And what that box is, it's actually an AI proposal. So what we do is we run a couple models on all of the data that comes into the game to generate guesses on what is in that footage. And so when you open up Bound, the very first thing you see is a box, and that was a guess from an AI model. And it's when you look at this, I'm not really sure what that box is bounding. It might be the kelp. I don't know, but why don't we focus on, or is that's a jelly?
It's a jelly.
Hard to tell.
What?
Also, really quick, Joe, if you wouldn't mind, this mini game is horizontal. I just want to make sure we capture that on our screen share.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
what
I
do you
guess that
think,
is a
jelly
jelly.
or
I think it is because
algae?
those are the oral arms.
Oh.
See, I thought it was a squid.
Is there something?
Well, so that's the thing. In this
Yeah.
image,
Wow.
in this image, there's a number of different things going on. And so basically what we're asking game players to do is to identify all of the things that they see that would fit in one of these animal missions. So yes, so jellies are one group, or medusae. Squids, obviously, is another group. And so what we want to do is not only draw a bounding box around the jelly, we also want to draw a bounding box around the squid. And so we do that by tapping that box, and then we move or deform this box until it encompasses the squid. So look at these instructions as I go. I don't even have to say anything.
I want to say I'm pretty proud of our team because this action that you're doing is you're creating a bounding box. And so the mini game is called
Bound.
Get it?
We spent a lot of time coming up with these. I don't want to tap the trash button, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Oh, and it doesn't go away. All right.
You'll be able to tap a trash button for this, maybe.
No.
You can do a castaway one.
There
There
we
you go.
All right. All right. So now in this image, there's actually quite a bit going on. So you can zoom in, get a better look.
Oh,
Are
There's
there
actually
two
two
right there?
animals. Yeah. A sea cucumber.
That's a sea pig.
Scotoplanes or something.
Scotoplanes.
How do you say it?
Scotoplanes, I think.
Scotoplanes.
Which is a type of sea cucumber.
This is what I've been told.
And then on it, it looks like there might be a crustacean of some
Of
kind.
some kind.
Maybe a squat lobster.
Maybe.
One of my faves.
One of my
from
favorite
FathomVerse.
videos of all time from MBARI is a sea pig swimming and a juvenile king crab holding on for dear life.
Oh, yes.
And just
We've all-
looks like they
Ooh,
are
a
having
fish.
the best time.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just...
There were some sea pens there for those following along, box by box.
I play Bound a lot, so this is just me going
Speed
on
run.
cruise control. Yeah, so sea pens. There's a bony fish here. There's some more sea pens. That's probably a coral.
In the Discord recently, there was a really excellent rhyme / song memory device because we see these sea whips a lot. They look just like white spiraling strands. But there's also a black coral, which ironically, they're usually orange.
Yeah.
So check out the Discord if you want a really incredible memory device to remember to the tune of, what's that Italian song?
That's
When the
amore.
That's
moon
amore?
hits- That one.
That's amore.
Thank God you cut me off before.
So yeah, I think I got everything in this image.
Looks like
Got a
it.
good amount.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really shadowy things, but one of the key tips and tricks for playing Bound is you want to box things that would be classifiable in the other mini games. So if it just looks like a grain of sand or
in
perhaps
this
a patch
case.
of sand right there,
Is it?
hard to
It
tell.
might be a sponge.
You want to focus on creating boxes around things that you wouldn't be upset to find in the other mini games.
I will say, though, one of
That's
the
a fish.
real values of training these AI models is your human eyes and your ability to
Totally.
infer what's in the image. And so that is why having eyes and labeling the blurry images, a fish zooting by the camera,
In context.
or a very, very small covered sea urchin that's muddy on the sea floor. If you're able to identify that, that's just that is all the better to improve the AI models to be more accurate and more precise.
And also, again, the reason that a lot of these images are maybe blurred or not like your normal, like kind of photo contest picture perfect is because they are from real scientific dives. So just imagine this being one frame in a very long video taken along the seafloor with an ROV or something. They aren't perfect images because you really are contributing to real science.
Yeah, and exactly, and like real science requires these kinds of views, these kinds of looks, right? It's not that you can't really just stop the vehicle and zoom in really great and make sure you have everything perfectly framed up, right? Oftentimes the vehicle is just moving along on the seafloor or in the water column, and you only get to see these things for a split second, right? So it's an important piece to this is that not only are you seeing really great images in some instances, but also these perhaps, I wouldn't want to say terrible ones, but others that are a little more challenging.
True
because
grit.
Both of them have value when we want to be training these machine learning models.
Yeah. And I was about to say that, yeah, most animals won't stop and pose, but I have seen
But some do.
some seem like
And
they
their
do.
names are Emily and Lily.
And giant larvations.
Like,
And giant larvations.
it seems like sometimes, especially some of the crabs that are wearing anemones, they seem
They
like
wanna
they're-
be caught.
They want to be seen. They're
You're like,
stepping
"Check out
out
my
on the
backpack."
town.
And now, Joe, I'm sorry, we're back to the vertical orientation.
After
you figured that out, I'm so
That
sorry.
felt right, yeah. We're just gonna
Sorry.
struggling for my life over here.
I'm so sorry. I appreciated what you were doing over there.
Stage management is no small task,
No, it is
okay?
not.
And so then, like the other classification games, you get feedback after you complete bounds. And so, it's worth opening up these images. Oh, sorry, Joe. Now we're going back to horizontal orientation. Don't worry about it.
I think Kakani might have beef with Joe. I don't know.
Oh, we have a history.
And we're back to vertical.
Please invite us back.
Back again.
And actually, I want to point out this one. Sorry.
Can.
Don't worry, Joe. This doesn't only bother you. This actually bothers Yost that we go back and forth in horizontal. and
Known as
vertical.
Dr. Yeast
Dr.
on
Yeast.
Discord for those
Mhm.
Discorders on the chat.
Yeah. So then you'll notice here in the feedback, stars mean I pretty much got 100% on that.
Ooh.
No
pretty
big
much.
deal.
But then the arrows indicate I could probably do a little bit better. So let's look at this one. So what is it saying? Oh, hard disagree.
Disagree.
So the inner box there, that is the box that I drew. But then the red around it is, probably the consensus, or in some cases it could be what we call the ground truth, like an expert has actually looked at the image and had their own guess. So if you disagree with, the box that they're saying is correct, you just flag it. So you do that by hitting this this flag at the top.
Don't be shy. Flag away.
Don't be shy. Flag away. A member of her team, Giovanna, and actually Emily, you might too, takes a look at these flagged images, and then just make sure, checks them out just to make sure that things aren't broken or aren't making sense. Like, well, you should look at this one. So if I click on it, this
I'm
box is-
suspicious.
I'm suspicious too. Flag it. And then there's this one here. So when you see the red X, that actually means, well, again,
Under 50%.
under 50%. And I would also disagree with this, right?
Disagree.
Right, Emily?
Yeah, I disagree too.
So in this, you're seeing how much we need to improve these AI proposals and also these consensus labels, or these ground truths that sometimes we have.
Yeah,
this-
so like this, in this case, they're saying there's nothing there, but clearly we know there's a crustacean there, so we are going to flag it. And again, these flags have a ton of value because they're a member of our team is going to go back and look at them, make any corrections.
Yep.
et
And that's
cetera.
the whole point, because the bound is also contributing to the science, so we're trying to refine the science. We're trying to get it better and better, and that's where you guys come in.
And so, since this is a new mini game, could that be part of why maybe it's not quite as refined yet, or since not as many people have played it, or is it more related to the database, or a little bit of both?
It's it's actually this. It's an ongoing thing. This is even true in our classification games, right? Like as new data comes in, perhaps from different locations, or collected using something different. Our models, the models that we're using to provide predictions or guesses perform differently. And so for one thing, that is a big difference that we see over time. But you are right. Like we are in this process of trying to refine, we're constantly trying to refine consensus, right? So we've got perspectives coming from different people. We have different people playing the game. They could be experts professionally, or they could be experts because they've been watching all of these David Attenborough videos, right? So like what we're trying to do is constantly kind of review, check, and make sure that the consensus algorithms that we're using aren't totally out of whack. And then again, it's this huge group effort for us all to like achieve this goal of like processing this information and improving these models so that we can accelerate our understanding of ocean life.
Yeah, and as we've mentioned, like, the ocean is huge. And so there's just a lot of animals, a lot of habitats, a lot of lighting, a lot of camera differences. There's so many elements at play, which is why even like something really powerful like a process like machine learning still takes so much training and so much input. And that's really where like the volume of eyes on them, human eyes, is what makes it a powerful tool.
And the thing that gets me really excited with this technology is if we get an AI model, a machine learning model, to the point where it's able to recognize something that's new. So it says
Totally.
we can be sure that we've never encountered this new animal, and that means it's a brand new species that is undiscovered and undescribed.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and that and then Fathom Knots are helping us do that.
I was gonna say, I have been so impressed. Like, there's been animal identification happening live in the chat, and I can just tell like everybody is so passionate, and it's just really fun to see. You guys are lucky to have such an engaged community, and it's really, really awesome that so many people care about marine science. It's just really exciting for us nerds.
Well, and here's the thing: you can share your love for marine science and marine animals by using one of the brand new features that we've created within FathomVerse.
No
Oh
way.
my gosh, that is crazy.
So what I'm about to show you, actually, so I navigated into our favorites. It looks like somebody really liked the squid. This
It was
is
me.
Strawberry squid.
Yes.
So
Is it?
pretty.
Okay, I love strawberry squid.
It's beautiful. And you're like, you know what? My friends who aren't playing FathomVerse, or my family that's not playing FathomVerse, they should see this. And they should also be playing FathomVerse, frankly. But so we have a brand new feature which allows you to share, share that image. You can copy it, you can email it, whatever. It uses a native sharing feature on your device. And then just make it available. And the more you share, the better, right? Please spread the word of FathomVerse, really far and wide.
You airdrop it to me right now.
Want me to? All right.
And it's fun because when you
I don't
share
think
it,
I
it
can do
comes with some
Right there.
info.
Oh.
So it'll have its little animal icon that has its current community consensus, which I don't know if we've really touched on yet, but the community consensus, as you putting in all your classification labels, so are other Fathom Knots on the same images, and it comes together in kind of a collective vote. And then that'll be reflected in your favorites. So you'll see labels start to update as they get more detailed or as they get verified. And then when you share it, it comes with that consensus label so that other people will know what it is and where it came from.
Yeah. I mean, the other awesome thing, yes, sharing things with your friends and family. Remember we mentioned contribution points, or CP. The other awesome thing that you're able to do is like unlock, exclusive content or content within the game that Emily here has lovingly made for everyone.
One girl dopamine factory.
And so, what's great is it's called a player progression screen, so you can see what the different, the different levels are, the different awards that you unlocked. And then, this goes all the way to Denizen of the Deep, which is level 15. And we have, more than 125?
You have 130 denizens of the deep. Do we have a denizen of the deep in the chat right now?
Well, Lisa, for sure. She
How
was
many
the
do you have at the
first.
table?
2.
I'm
Actually,
getting there.
3 because I have it on 2 devices.
Yeah. Kakani is a
I'm in there.
two-time
I play a lot of
denizen
games.
the deep.
But the other really cool thing, and we've been thinking about this a lot in terms of if you are a student or you're an educator, or if you want to catalog how much time or how much you've contributed to the game beyond just contribution points. Emily and Yost worked really hard to create a player report.
Oh no, what are my tabs?
I know, I'm now like, what was that tab? And so what this will do is actually take you to your own personalized report that will, tell you what level you're at. It'll tell you what your points are. It'll also show your daily annotations and your cumulative CP or contribution points. What this plot is showing you is actually what of the images that you looked at. Oh, I haven't explained that yet.
Go
New
ahead.
discoveries.
Yeah.
We'll
It's
do that
time.
eventually.
It is your time.
I feel like a little out of whack. So when I'm going to come back to this, but basically it tells you what you've gotten right, what you've gotten wrong on something that wasn't labeled before. It tells you how many missions you've unlocked. And then there's this really nifty table. I find it helpful because I sometimes want to know, how am I doing? Am I good at finding octopuses? Am I terrible at acorn worms, which I am. I'm very terrible at all polychaetes.
Or is it terrible, or is it an opportunity for growth?
Both.
Is it new
I was
and
getting there, Emily. But what you see on the far right is a score, right? And so 1 means 100%. Pyrosomes here is 0.778. But regardless, right? What this tells us is like there's perhaps different animal groups that I'm doing really well on, or different animal groups that an opportunity to go back to the training, perhaps look at those mission briefings, perhaps do a couple more training dives just to improve and do better. So all of that. Not only do you have this dashboard, you can also print this report and hand it off to your teacher or friend, or friends you want to compete with,
Your coworkers,
your book club.
your subordinates, anybody really. Your subordinates.
We don't do that.
Wow, what are you talking about? So
Could be anyone.
so yeah, that's that. Do you want to do fault?
My new discoveries.
So we are at 4:35, Joe. How long do we have here today?
Uh-oh.
We can keep going? Okay, yeah, we did start a little bit late. So yeah, let's keep going.
Well, let's talk about, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody, but the thing I'm most excited about when I play this game is my new discoveries. And so what my new discoveries is remember when you're in training, you're looking at images that an expert has already looked at. When you go into expeditions, this is where you're looking at imagery that nobody's looked at, right? And so here's an opportunity for me to see something brand new and assign a name to something that we don't have an answer for yet. And so what my new discoveries is basically the place where you get feedback on those instances or images where you don't have a label. And so you find out how well did you do, right, with the community, or like how did the community work together and come up with a consensus or an agreement that an image is something, or this ocean scene has this number of animals. And so for me, it's such a dopamine rush. Anytime I see that my new discoveries button activated, because that means, oh man, I'm gonna get to see something brand new, and then also see just how the rest of the community did. And so the first thing I'm gonna try. So the first thing we'll want to do is I'm just trying to get rid of those screens. But here it says one of the 7 images that I labeled. So I said that this image here is a squid, and we're getting feedback that this is correct, but we're also getting feedback that FathomVerse is saying this is a mollusk. Now, a squid is a mollusk, and what this means is that squid is a little bit more granular. So higher up is mollusk, then you have squid. And so what we're finding over time, what we're doing is we're getting consensus first at the highest level in the label. And then over time, as more and more votes from game players come in, we then get consensus at deeper and deeper levels in the taxonomy. So that's what you see here, where they agree with us. Unfortunately, 6 out of 7 times, the community disagrees with me.
This is a tester iPad, so who knows who did those?
This might be
It's
the other denizen of a deep market. So
I will
here-
take the fall for these.
So yeah, I said this is a Medusa, and FathomVerse says this is a Cetipid ctenophore.
So this is a really wonderful place where you can also learn. You can learn where you're
Exactly.
really confident and where you're not so confident. And one of the things that we added, thanks to feedback from our Fathom Knots, is this ability to click open, expand the image, and take a good look at it so that you can review it and really learn from it.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing, though. The whole thing is we're essentially learning together about ocean life, and we try to provide as many opportunities, to enable that within this.
I didn't know what a siphonophore was before I started on this team,
Really?
which is kind of crazy.
That's
See?
wonderful.
But I wanted to be vulnerable with you guys.
Oh, this is beautiful.
We
This is
appreciate it.
exclusive content, emotional vulnerability. We currently have a siphonophore Into the Deep, don't we? Yeah, so you could also go see
so
one.
cool.
The Into the Deep
I love them.
exhibit at
Yeah.
the Monterey Bay Aquarium. There's nothing like it.
There's nothing like it. Well,
You have to search really, really hard to find a photo of me.
Oh yeah,
photo of
Connie's in
you.
the exhibit.
you're in the exhibit.
Go find
I'm
her.
telling you, it's going to be a lot of work to find. So yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of other fun stuff in this, but for the most part, like that's FathomVerse. Was there anything we wanted to make sure and highlight? Given I know we're technically out of time.
I mean, it flew by, and that was just so much fun. So
did.
thank you for
did.
playing. And peek behind the curtain. Emily got to do a speed run of FathomVerse, which for a
True.
cozy game, not necessarily the goal, but she
Depends
actually
how you
got
like
us
to play.
got us up to speed so that we could play Bound and unlock some rewards that we could demonstrate. So that was pretty fun.
It's possible. You know, we designed it for a number of different types of players,
Yeah.
and we just hope it's fun for everyone.
Yeah, next time we will be doing this as fast as possible. But it seems like perhaps Kakani remembered something when I said that.
I did. I mean, but I'm watching Joe and what Joe's doing.
Yeah.
Yes. Look
So-
at that.
I can talk about these all the time.
Are these up on the screen
Are
right
they
now,
up?
Joe?
Down they are.
Oh, we thought that was the live screen.
We all got distracted by
Our eyes
cute,
were like, what?
cute images.
So these are among all of the favorites. I pulled the most popular favorites. So the images in FathomVerse that have the most hearts by our Fathom Knots. And so we can go through the top 5 as we close out.
These are the most popular animals in the ocean.
In the entire ocean, these
Top
this,
This
five.
is them.
this is what's hot right now.
You want to be on top?
Oh my gosh.
So this actually, Connie knows a little bit more about what's going on in this image.
Yeah.
This is an octopus who stumbled upon an ongoing scientific experiment. Is that correct?
Exactly. Dr. Jim Barry, who's a senior scientist at MBARI, he's been working with the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary to try and understand, can you transplant corals in the deep sea, and how successful will that be? And so those little white pieces, those PVC pieces, inside of each one of those is a little coral stalk. And so this octopus was just walking through the experiment.
Taking a stroll.
Did it do damage to this experiment? No?
It's his house.
It's his house. We're just
fair.
what isn't? The whole ocean is his
The whole
house.
ocean.
All right, number 3. This is a piglet squid captured and collected or observed by MBARI in the Monterey Bay. How many likes does it say it has? It has about 400 likes, I think. And this is a very cute,
Nice.
semi-transparent squid.
This is a big one. I feel like every time we get some new players on Discord, they're like, has anyone seen this? And everyone all chimes in and goes, that is the best thing to see.
That and barrel eye for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crowd favorite.
All right, the next one is also an MBARI image coming up. This is the confusing octopus squid. It is actually a squid. I think because of the number of tentacles, and I read that throughout its life, it actually absorbs 2 arms.
Whoa.
I know. Fascinating. And then the number 1, is everyone ready for the most popular animal in FathomVerse? Da-da-da!
Yes!
My beloved.
This octopus is fondly known as Casper the ghost-like octo. This was observed by researchers from NOAA Office of Ocean Exploration in the northern Hawaiian archipelago near Papahanaumokuakea. And this is most likely an undescribed species.
It's
So
amazing.
no one knows yet exactly what species this octopus is, and it just requires scientists running into it again to figure out what's up with this guy.
I can
600.
describe it.
You
Beautiful, show-stopping,
Perfect.
incredible,
Haunting look in his eye,
a little haunting,
much like Casper the ghost.
absolutely charming.
And like 665 people agree with you.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Shout out to those 665.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess we're coming up on time, but this has been a delight. You guys are just always the best to talk to. I've learned stuff in the process of this live stream, and I hope people have also learned something out in the world. So thank you so much for being here. Or do you have any parting words or anything else you'd like to say? That feels like a lot of pressure. We could just talk about Emily's shirt for a second.
Don't bring attention to it.
Okay, never mind.
Can we get a zoom?
I just want to say thank you so much for having us. We are so grateful for all of the support that we've had from our wonderful partners at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and also from all of you who are joining the stream and who are playing FathomVerse. Definitely, it's
Yeah.
free on the App Store, so why not?
Yeah.
Try it out.
Yeah, I definitely want to say, you know, I've been doing like ocean exploration and ocean technology development for a little while now, and like this is one of the most rewarding, exciting projects I've ever been on, and so I'm just so grateful to all the Fathomnauts out there that are perhaps agree with us and wants to continue this journey, and yeah. Onwards and downwards.
Onwards and
peeps.
Onwards and downwards, everybody.
Play this month. We have the Citizen Science Month badge that you can unlock and earn a special Citizen Science Month reward. So go check it out.
Go forth, everyone, and thank you for coming.